Hello and welcome to the March broadcast over the Chrysler Dealer Network. I'm Chris Henry. Today we have highlights of the recent spring business meetings held across Canada. We'll see what the buff books have had to say since our last report in December. And we have a report on the Chrysler Enterprise program and what it means to Chrysler dealers. Also some technical highlights on the NS minivan that'll be arriving in your showroom shortly. We'll give you an overview of the parts and service customer survey results and what they mean to your profitability. And finally, the first in a series of programs on the women's market and what Chrysler and your dealership need to do to make the most of this opportunity. Well, we have a lot to cover, so let's get started. This year's round of midwinter business meetings were somewhat of a departure from previous years. The meetings carried the theme, "The Magic Continues." And to reinforce that, the audience was treated to some very special entertainment. President Yves Landry led off the meeting.
Being customer-driven is the foundation of our corporate purpose, and it can be expressed in one short sentence. It is to produce cars and trucks that people will want to buy, enjoy driving, and will want to buy again. And our strategy was to aim for vehicles that have outstanding design in styling and packaging. Our strategy was to form a relationship with our customers, a relationship that addresses their needs and their lifestyles. These are the reasons why our new vehicles of recent years have received more awards than any others in such a short period of time. Yes, a recognition of excellence, innovative design and styling coming to market just in time to meet the customer's best wishes and greater expectations. Just look at this impressive list of awards and recognitions. Yes, what a difference a few years make. That is really why product and again product is so important. It's being closer to the market. It's being more responsive to our customer needs, wishes, or demands. It simply considerably reduces your margin for error and makes you far less vulnerable to your competition. It simply gives you a greater understanding that if you are to survive in today's hyper-competitive auto market, you've got to be lean. Call it lean production, call it agile manufacturing, call it whatever you want. In our industry today, manufacturers need to be nimble and agile to react to the changes in our environment, and that's changes in regulation, changes in consumer taste, changes in world currency exchange rate fluctuations. And size can limit the ability to change rapidly. In other words, the large no longer eats the small in the automotive business. And that is why we have no ambition of being the biggest. That is why we consider product creation one of our most fundamental of our core processes. And in the end, the race will go to the swift. It's the swift that wins over the slow. At Chrysler Canada, we have just announced our annual results. And here's what we've accomplished together. All-time record net sales of $15.7 billion, a year-to-year improvement of 15.4%, but more impressive yet, a growth of 221% over the past 5-year period. In a lackluster 1,260,000 Canadian vehicle industry that was plagued by a slower than expected economic recovery, Chrysler Canada's 1994 retail sales increased 9.2% year to year, more than GM at 8.4%, more than Ford at 7.8%, and outperformed the industry as a whole by selling 247,800 cars and trucks in 1994 for a share of 19.7% of the Canadian vehicle industry. I see the pride of ownership and appurtenance. I see it in your eyes at auto shows as I travel around the country. Pride in our renewed image of success, pride in our new products, pride in our new reputation. And we all know, however, how fragile this can be. In a competitive environment, the success of one is often the failure of others. Nothing stands still. It's a perpetual motion. It's moves and counter moves. Ford, for one, were quick to discredit our Neon after an early 1,200 vehicle recall. Can you imagine? Little did they know the Contour Mystique and Windstar would both later be recalled in the 100,000s of vehicles use it in the showroom. It's only fair ball. They do it to us all the time. GM Ford and the imports are taking shots at us every time they can. GM Ford and the imports are copying our every move in the marketplace, and that is why it's so important to never ever lower our guard again. That is why it's so important not to abandon the innovations that got us where we are in the first place.
With the assistance of Mr. Rossini, Larry Latta, Charles Crook, and Bob Renault took the audience through regional and national vehicle sales and projections. They looked at merchandising plans and activities to support the fantastic line of products we have to sell, and reviewed where we are on CSI and SSI and what we need to do to keep the momentum going. In a radical departure from most meetings like this, the three VPs took the audience through a fairly detailed product review of the NS, covering development history, interior, exterior, and powertrain features and benefits, all of which was finished off with one final feat of magic. Following the business meeting, dealers were invited to attend a luncheon, the highlight of which was the presentation of the 1994 Sales Excellence Awards to dealers and sales managers, and the presentation of Dealer Long Service Awards to the following dealers. Leading the list was Selkirk Chrysler, Invermere, BC, with 70 years. Kernahan Motors Limited, Forest, Ontario, with 60 years. And Jules Bio et Fils Limité, Hull, Quebec. Armand Automobile Limité, Carleton-sur-Mer, Quebec. Rutledge Garage, Nipawin, Manitoba. Portage Dodge Chrysler, Portage La Prairie, Manitoba. John Chudd and Sons Limited, Gimli, Manitoba. Parker Motors 1946 Limited, Penticton, BC, all with 50 years of service. Dealers with 25 years as a Chrysler dealer were Woodstock Chrysler, Woodstock, Ontario. Checkpoint Chrysler Limited, St. Catharines, Ontario. Autoland Chrysler, Niagara Falls, Ontario. Galt Chrysler Dodge Limited, Cambridge, Ontario. Town and Country Chrysler Limited, Smith Falls, Ontario. Northway Chrysler Motors Limited, New Liskeard, Ontario. Eastway Plymouth Chrysler Limited, Toronto, Ontario. Duvalon Chrysler Plymouth Limité, Saint-Foy, Quebec. R. Laurendeau et Fils Inc., Saint-Roch-des-Aulnay, Quebec. Pembina Dodge Chrysler Limited, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Richmond Plymouth Chrysler Limited, Richmond, BC. Courtney Chrysler Plymouth Sales, Courtney, BC. And Willie Dodge in Victoria, BC. Congratulations to all these long-service Chrysler dealers. The January and February issues of the Buff magazines have been filled with articles about the products you sell, especially Neon, Cirrus, Grand Cherokee, and the upcoming 1996 minivans. The Neon Sport Coupe has produced very different reactions in two magazines. In their January issue, Car and Driver delivered a somewhat mixed review. While they still appreciated the many strengths common to all Neons, they made it clear that they preferred the four-door.
The Neon Sport Coupe delivers a laudable return on the dollar. But there's an even better value out there. The Neon Sport four-door is quieter, nearly as quick, and offers a more passenger-friendly package.
On the other hand, Automobile magazine named the Neon Sport Coupe to its list of 12 All-Stars in its February issue. They wrote,
"The Neon Sport Coupe wins your heart with pyrotechnic performance while convincing your wallet with sound financial reasoning. No other car offers so much performance for so little money."
Well, whoever said the journalists had to agree on everything. There is stronger agreement, however, about the Chrysler Cirrus. In its January issue, Motor Trend chose Cirrus as its 1995 Car of the Year.
From its aggressive face and nouveau vintage Chrysler badge to its large and comfortable interior, the Cirrus best demonstrates what a domestic family sedan should be. Boasting a smart design philosophy, safety-conscious engineering, excellent driving dynamics, and a luxurious outlay of standard features, the Cirrus holds a decisive advantage over anything else in its price range.
In addition, Car and Driver named the Cirrus LXI to its 10 best list in the January issue. The editors used phrases such as sleek and stylish, the prettiest in the class, a winning combination of precise handling and a smooth ride to describe it. And they also noted that this car provides tremendous value. If you need further proof that taste is subjective, look up Road and Track's February issue, which contains their comparison test of 7 mid-size sedans with V6 engines. The editors ranked the Cirrus LXi 5th, behind the Accord, 626, Passat, and Camry. This despite Cirrus being the second lowest priced car in the test. Well, despite the 5th place ranking, the Road and Track editors had many complimentary observations about Cirrus.
Chrysler has done its homework and built a mid-size sedan with a solid structure, a large trunk, and a roomy interior that's fitted with switches and controls blessed with a pleasing high-quality feel. Cirrus also takes corners with composure, aided by steering assist that feels entirely natural.
For their February issue, Car and Driver took a new Ford Explorer, the new Chevy Blazer, and a Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo about as far north as they could go to Moose Factory in Ontario for their comparison test.
The most agreeable combination of power and size propelled the Grand Cherokee Laredo to the #1 spot. The Grand Cherokee's adequate power is delivered smartly through Jeep's clean shifting transmission. Add to this the best brakes and the highest cornering numbers in the bunch, and the Jeep emerges as the most reasonable imitator of a pleasing sports sedan.
Finally, the first stories about the new Chrysler minivans are now appearing in the Buff books, such as the February issues of both Car and Driver and Automobile magazines. Editors of both magazines were given a short opportunity to experience the new minivan. Here's a look at what they had to say. Car and Driver has a straightforward report on how and what Chrysler changed on the new model. They refrain from offering much opinion until they can perform a complete test, but they did say this.
A short drive in an early prototype indicates that great strides have been made in powertrain and road noise isolation in the new minivan. Power and acceleration are competitive but not outstanding relative to the current crop of minivans. Maneuvering in tight quarters is easier thanks to the improved visibility and the smaller turning circle.
Automobile magazine is venturing some opinions, however, and they are outstanding. They observed that the new Chrysler minivans seem like the most thoughtfully designed vehicles in the world, and they conclude with this observation.
The 1996 Chrysler minivan isn't a radically new vehicle. It couldn't have been. But we get the feeling that the more you live with one, the more it will impress you with all the things it does well, as if the people who made it understood everything you were going to ask of it. From what we can tell so far, Chrysler still understands minivans better than anyone else.
Motor Trend magazine devotes a page to the Chrysler Town & Country minivan. It says, the impressive new interior further blurs the already indistinct line between passenger cars and the minivan. New equipment includes dual front climate controls with mid-cabin door ducts for airflow to intermediate seats with all system modes, more interior storage, improved cup holders, shoulder belt height adjusters for the second row seats, reclining seats in all positions, and increased driver and passenger visibility. How desirable is a passenger door on the driver's side of the minivan? Well, very desirable, say 70% of current minivan owners. In fact, they'd gladly pay extra for one, according to a recent survey by the marketing firm Auto Pacific. Chrysler's next generation minivans will offer the extra door as an option, but Ford Motor Company will have to play catch-up, says the newspaper USA Today. Ford is considering an optional driver's side door on its Windstar, but it won't be ready until early 1999. Finally, Auto Week magazine joined the party with their minivan article entitled Built to Order. Minivan customers have been telling Chrysler what they want for a decade, reads the subhead. Well, this spring they're going to get it. Auto Week writer Kevin Wilson calls attention to the unique relationship Chrysler minivan owners enjoy with their manufacturer. It was by listening to customers, Auto Week writes, that Chrysler found the market for both long and short wheelbase models, a broad range of drivetrains, built-in child safety seats, luxury minivans, cup holders, and a host of other small, innovative touches that emerged over the years. The article continues, what has been done is to reintegrate, revise, and reinterpret the minivan idea, incorporating everything that's been learned over the 10-plus years that the vehicle has been on the market, starting from a blank CAD screen. The result is the kind of vehicle that will keep the target customer happy for a long time to come. Auto Week calls the styling a cleaner, more fashionable look that accepts what the minivan is, a family room on wheels, and makes the most of it. The magazine concludes by saying most of the improvements look like small, simple things, but Nothing seems patched or pieced together about this accumulation of little things. Instead, the new minivan comes across as a single, exceptionally well-thought-out vehicle. Together, Chrysler and the owners of earlier minivans have created a vehicle that should sustain the corporation's dominance of this market segment for another few years. So, it looks like the new minivan will be a big hit with the automotive press and in your showroom. Jim Kenzie, writing in the Toronto Star's Wheels Automotive section on February 25th, did a test report on the new Mercury Mystique. However, because of the weaknesses he finds in this new Ford product, his report turns out to be mostly praise of our Chrysler Cirrus and Dodge Stratus. Kenzie says of Mystique's appearance, the overall shape, long, tall, narrow, softly curved, may have been leading edge when development started, but it's already old-fashioned, especially since Chrysler Cirrus and Dodge Stratus were unveiled. He is critical of some other aspects of this new Mercury model as well, such as its flimsy cup holders, inadequate rear legroom, and harsh ride. To sum up his Mystique road test, Kenzie leaves no doubt as to how he thinks Mystique compares to our new sedans. On any count, styling, engineering, ride, handling, price, Cirrus and Stratus simply blow Contour Mystique away. Of course, we'll keep you up to date on what the press says on our next Media Watch. At the North American International Auto Show in Detroit in January, Eagle introduced an exciting new patented feature that will appear on the Vision TSI in the '96 model year. It's called Auto Stick, and it's designed to provide drivers with the added torque control and the sporty feel of a manual transmission while still providing the convenience of an automatic. Visions equipped with the Auto Stick will have this special shift selector. When placed in the overdrive position, the transmission shifts automatically. Pulling it down into the AS position puts it in Auto Stick mode. The transmission still shifts automatically, but the driver can manually upshift or downshift by pushing the shifter to the left or right. A special display in the instrument panel tells the driver the vehicle is in Auto Stick mode and which gear is currently in use. Auto Stick is an Eagle exclusive and will be standard equipment on all 1996 Vision TSI models, enhancing this car's appeal to performance-oriented drivers.
More than ever, good communication is an important key to satisfying your customers. Communication that possibly starts even before they set foot in your dealership. Think what happens when a customer calls your dealership and their experience is an unpleasant one. Do they have to wait too long? Were they treated politely? Did they find out what they wanted to know? Customers will bring negative perceptions to your dealership if they bother to show up. Yet at the same time, the cost of effective telecommunication keeps rising. That's why Chrysler Canada initiated the Chrysler Enterprise program to help you make your dealership telecommunications activity better and more cost efficient. The benefits yielded by the Enterprise program are fundamental to the successful operation of your dealership. Improved efficiency, improved customer contact, and cost savings. The Chrysler Enterprise program is a national initiative sponsored by Chrysler Canada in partnership with Bell Canada. It focuses on dealerships in the areas of staff training, consultation, long-distance savings, equipment purchase savings, and cellular phone activities. At the inception of the program in 1994, Chrysler Canada approached dealers to get involved in the Enterprise initiative. A total of 524 dealers are now participating in the program, or 87% of the dealer body. This has resulted in annual long-distance savings of $184,000. 29 dealers have taken advantage of the telephone system offerings. In addition to a total of $15,000 in one-time savings, some dealers are saving up to $300 per month. With regard to the cellular phone partner plan, an agreement signed a short while ago with Bell Mobility is now being extended to the dealer body. You've recently received a letter announcing this program. Telecommunications is an extremely important tool in running your dealership successfully. It's communication which you can arrange to your satisfaction and your customers. Remember, if a customer's perception of your dealership is negative from a telephone contact, you may have to work twice as hard face-to-face to overcome that negative perception, if you get the chance. So why take a chance? Make sure that this essential aspect of your customer contact delivers satisfaction while you reduce costs. People who are better trained in a more professional environment serve customers better. Chrysler Canada is committed to continuous improvement. Last year's initiative was aimed specifically at dealers. Phase 2, planned for this year, encompasses the implementation of a corporate network which will provide a uniform dialing plan, plus further long-distance savings. If you'd like to find out more about how you can take part in these savings, contact your local telephone business office. Please watch your Chrysler Dealer Network for further announcements on the Enterprise program.
Well, as the world knows by now, the Chrysler Corporation has hit another product home run, and this time it's out of the ballpark. The all-new family of Chrysler, Dodge, and Plymouth minivans received rave reviews at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit just a few weeks ago, and with good reason. No detail was too small to scrutinize, no improvement too minor to consider, as Chrysler reinvented the most successful vehicle in its history. The result is a minivan that raises the stakes in a market that Chrysler created. The vehicle set new benchmarks with innovations like a left side sliding door. Any minivan driver who attends to children or other business in the rear seats before entering the van will really appreciate the convenience of this feature. Also, rear bench seats have been put on wheels. The so-called easy out rollers add new ease to the removal, installation, and repositioning of the seats. Customers will also welcome first for minivan features such as zone climate control and memory seats and mirrors. There's more room inside as well. The vehicles were designed to provide the most efficient use of space imaginable. In fact, cargo volumes have been increased 27% on short wheelbase models and 25% on long wheelbase models. Also, the powertrain offering will include an all-new 2.4-liter 16-valve double overhead cam four-cylinder engine capable of delivering 150 horsepower. 3-liter, 3.3, and 3.8-liter engines are available as well. And there are two automatic transaxles. The 41TE can be used with the 2.4, 3.3, and 3.8-liter engines, while the 31TH can be mated to the 2.4 and 3-liter power plants. The product is clearly above the mark, and service must be too. And with that in mind, you'll be glad to learn that serviceability played a key role in the minivan's design. Technicians should find every system in the vehicle more accessible for diagnosis, service, and repair. For example, all the onboard diagnostics except the HVAC control are accessible through the common data link connector under the instrument panel. The HVAC control panel can be used to perform self-diagnostics on system components. Diagnostics provide fault code retrieval, internal testing, and switch checks. The accessibility of the onboard diagnostics simplifies connection of a scan tool, and by the way, the new vehicles used OBD2. The list of serviceability features is extensive. Let's start with safety. The airbag system control module is located behind the instrument panel center console for easy access. Also, passenger side airbag fasteners are accessible through the glove compartment door opening and under the instrument panel top cover. The serviceability of body systems such as exterior lighting has also been improved. For example, the halogen type headlight bulbs are replaced from under the hood without any tools. A simple 7-bolt attachment makes it easy to remove and replace the modular windshield wiper system. In addition, dual under-hood lamps mounted on the wiper module light the full width of the engine compartment and direct light towards the service checkpoints. Inside, serviceability of the air conditioning system is enhanced by having the powertrain control module, or the PCM, monitor the refrigerant system pressure transducer. You'll also be interested to know that an onboard microprocessor in the instrument cluster provides self-diagnostic capability. To access the cluster for service, simply remove the snap-in instrument panel top cover. Serviceability has also been built into the chassis. You'll find brake discs and drums are center piloted to allow removal without disturbing the hubs or hub bearings. And by the way, both front and rear wheel hub and bearing units are pre-adjusted, permanently lubricated, and sealed. They require no maintenance. Well, as for steering and suspension, a service kit is available to adjust camber. It includes adjustable cam-type bolts that attach the struts to the knuckle. You should also know that for the first time, load leveling is available as an option on front-wheel drive minivans. The new minivan uses a shock absorber with a self-contained internal hydraulic pump to pressurize a hydraulic charge inside the shock absorber. On all engines, the exhaust system is connected to the exhaust manifold through a gasketed flange, providing sealing for the life of the vehicle. Exhaust system component replacement is simplified by joining the sections with clamps instead of traditional U-bolts. Moving now to electrical and electronic systems, the wiring on the new minivans is distributed down the middle of the vehicle along a channel in the floor pan. The fuse block for all interior items is part of the wiring junction block, which is located on the dash panel just above the driver's left foot. Underhood fuses and relays are housed in the Power Distribution Center, or PDC, which is located in the left front inner fender. Access to engine transaxle and ABS controllers for diagnosis and service is excellent. Engine and transaxle controllers are in the engine compartment. The ABS controller is mounted on the brake pedal bracket. As for engine systems, it should be a while before you replace a timing belt on the 2.4-liter engine. In fact, the belt should only need service every 160,000 kilometers. The camshaft drive is highly reliable, and the belt is made of high-temperature resistant material. It has an automatic tensioner and is completely enclosed. Platinum tip spark plugs, which ought to last about 160,000 kilometers under normal driving conditions, are standard on the 3.3 and the 3.8-liter engines. Well, by now you should realize that serviceability is a big part of the 1996 minivan story. A 2-day training course will begin in the second quarter. For more information, contact your district service manager or your regional office.
Now let's talk about a market you need to know more about. I'm talking about womenomics. It's not a new college major, but it should be a major consideration when it comes to selling vehicles.
Larry Latto thinks the women's market is so important he's prepared the following message to point out some of the steps Chrysler is taking to capture a lion's share of this huge and growing market. Here's Chrysler Canada's Vice President and General Sales Manager.
Hello, I'm Larry Latto. During the last few decades, we've seen enormous changes in all aspects of North American life. One of the most significant developments has been the emergence of women in the workforce and the economic power that has resulted. While women account for a little more than half of the Canadian population, they are responsible for 70% of all consumer spending. And I've got to tell you, it's probably a little higher even at my household and some of yours, and that impact is being felt at dealerships across Canada. Today, almost 1 of every 2 cars sold in this country is bought or influenced by a woman buyer. Think about that. Almost 1 out of 2 bought or influenced by women. Now on the truck side, female buyers currently account for just over 15%. But in minivans, it's 25%, or 1 in 4, and the same in Jeep sales. Now while it varies by segment, women directly and indirectly influence more than 2/3 of new vehicle purchases. In short, women represent an economic force that we simply cannot afford to overlook. If you're not tapping this market, you're missing out on car and truck sales and the profits that result from those sales and service opportunities. The automaker who wins with women wins, period. And with that in mind, it should come as no surprise to learn that Chrysler has a Women's Advisory Committee on the automotive market. The group, which represents all areas of the corporation, is meant to be a proactive voice on issues and concerns of women in the automotive market. Organized in 1978, the committee has made a number of contributions, including product improvements, advertising strategies, and marketing strategies, efforts all aimed at enhancing our relationship with women. But we can't do it all alone. We need every member of the Chrysler team to help reach this important market segment. And that's where you folks come in. You're on the front line every single day. You're our link to the customer, and your efforts go a long way towards cementing our relationship with women. Are you doing all you can do to serve the women who enter your dealership? Are all women treated as individuals with individual needs at your shop? Well, if not, you're missing one of the most significant profit opportunities available today. And to help you better understand the women's market, we're establishing a new series on the Chrysler Dealer Network, and it's called Womenomics. And with that, here is our first installment.
As we mentioned earlier, this is the first of a series of reports aimed at informing retail people about the potential of the women's market and the opportunities it provides. Catherine?
Today, women in North America own more than 6.5 million businesses and employ more people than the Fortune 500.
And of course, they need cars and trucks to transport employees and goods. By the year 2000, half of all the businesses in North America will be owned by women, and that is a lot of potential sales.
Incomes of women are also on the rise. Female earnings are projected to grow by 25% from 1982 to 1997, which is a significant increase, especially when you realize the male incomes are projected to increase by only 3% during the same period. And women are not only making money, they're spending it.
That's right. In 1994, 40% of all cars and 15% of all trucks were purchased by women. As a whole, women represent billions of dollars a year in automotive spending. Now, that's a lot of cars and trucks and a lot of potential profit, too.
And finally, you should know that even when women are not actually buying the vehicle, they may have an impact on its purchase. According to research, women currently influence 2/3 of all vehicle purchases, and that's considerable clout. Something to keep in mind the next time you approach a prospect of either gender.
By now, you should begin to realize the potential of the women's market.
It's enormous.
And the potential for profits is too. Let's take a look. According to Chrysler dealership data, the average gross sales profit for each new retail unit is $1,333. The amount is based on the dealership selling an average of 875 new vehicles in 1994. Add $370 for gross finance and insurance profit and another $200 for gross service contracts profit, and you can begin to see how each new customer affects the bottom line.
And of course, if we include the potential service profits after the sale, the number climbs higher. For warranty and non-warranty claims paid during the first year of ownership, gross profit averages $130 for each new retail unit. Gross profits from parts during the first year averages $40, which brings the total gross profit for each new retail unit to $2,073.
$2,073, and that doesn't even include service and parts profits from years 2, 3, and 4.
That's right. The profits add up quickly, but so can the losses. Let's say a dealership has half a dozen salespeople, and over the course of a week, each one ignores or insults or in some way turns off one female buyer. If the dealership loses 6 female buyers each week through the course of a year, that's 312 lost customers. Multiply that by the average gross profit for each new retail unit, and you can see that this shop is missing out on a potential gross profit of $646,776. Of course, if a dealership is losing more than 6 female customers a week, the number could be much higher.
And it doesn't even include the business they miss as the result of a negative impression formed by friends, neighbors, and relatives with whom the customer shares her experience.
What all this means is that women have a tremendous influence on your bottom line. And while sales are good right now, remember, the automotive industry is an unpredictable business. The women you overlook today may be the customers you desperately need down the road.
Those women who are turned off will not be back when the market slows down.
Or any other time for that matter.
Which is why it's to your benefit to reach out to the female market now. Of course, to effectively tap the market, you need to understand the female buyer.
First off, you should know that as a whole, auto dealerships are perceived as being out of touch with women buyers. You need to understand that the female market is just as diversified as the male market. Women are not necessarily looking for the least expensive vehicle. In fact, research shows that more than 2/3 of all male and female prospects prefer a fully equipped car with many highly profitable safety and convenience features. Also, women are not necessarily looking for the smallest car. For example, a breakdown of the new mid-size car segment shows that women account for 21 to 25% of the Intrepid and Vision model sales. So if you're not selling that many LHs to women, perhaps you should start asking why.
Women also buy large cars. 15% of Chrysler's highly profitable LHS models are bought by women, and we don't have to tell you how that impacts the bottom line. And it's clear that women are interested in trucks. In fact, Chrysler leads the industry when it comes to the percentage of women buying trucks. While 45% of all minivans sold are bought by women, both the Dodge Caravan and Plymouth Voyager exceed the industry average.
It's also important to know that women are principal drivers in about 70% of those vehicles, which is a good thing for you salespeople to keep in mind the next time a family comes shopping for a minivan. While sales of the popular minivans to women account for much of our success in this area, you should know that women are moving into other trucks as well. For example, women buy 50% of all small sport utility vehicles.
You may also be surprised to learn that women buy 50% of all the vehicles sold in the mini sport utility segment. About 36% of Jeep YJs are sold to women. And did you know that about 9% of all compact pickups are bought by women? Maybe those of you with Dakotas to sell should pay a visit to the nearest Ford dealer to see how the salespeople there put women into Rangers.
Women are not just limited to small trucks either. About 7% of all full-size pickups are sold to women, And females buy about 5% of our Dodge Rams. So the next time a female prospect walks into your showroom, you should not automatically assume she's in the market for a small car.
You should also know that our newest product entries were designed with both women and men in mind. Women are expected to purchase about 35% of all Chrysler Cirrus models, so make sure your salespeople remember to show Motor Trend's Car of the Year to your female prospects. In addition, women will account for about 40% of all Dodge Stratus sales and about half of all the Dodge Avenger sales.
Regardless of the statistical data, it's important to realize that each woman is unique. They have unique lifestyles, unique jobs, and unique needs for the vehicles they drive.
When a woman prospect arrives at your showroom, don't assume anything. Just listen and gather the facts. You must determine what her needs and priorities are in purchasing a new vehicle and qualify her based on what she wants to pay.
It may surprise you to learn that the 4 top reasons for buying a new vehicle are the same for women as men. That's right. Women want a vehicle that is durable, well-made, easy to handle, and a good value.
Just like the guys, which is why you must dig deeper and find out what's really important to women prospects. And remember, they expect professional courtesy, as does any buyer. So make sure her visit to your dealership is worthwhile. One thing that does differentiate men from women vehicle buyers is that women tend to be more thorough shoppers. That means they study and compare. So make sure you don't write off a woman just because she leaves your shop without signing a contract. You need to follow up.
Most women want all the information they can get. It's not enough to simply mention that a car has front-wheel drive or electronic fuel injection. You must explain how the feature benefits her. The more information she's given that's important to her car buying decision, the more comfortable she'll be.
And always remember, each of you sets the tone for your entire operation. Your treatment of women will be reflected by others.
By now, you should realize the importance of the female buyer.
It's a market segment that's vital to your success.
Simply put, it means money in your pocket, so don't let it pass you by.
Think womenomics.
After all, can you really afford not to? Today we'd like to bring you some of the key highlights from our Chrysler Canada Service and Parts Tracking Study. We maintain ongoing customer research to provide us with vital information on the service and parts market. This information is contracted through an independent research company. Our objectives are to determine levels of customer satisfaction with Chrysler Canada dealerships and competing service facilities, to determine our sales penetration of the parts and service aftermarket, to measure awareness of 5-star service and Mopar parts, and the effectiveness of our various marketing programs. This information helps us formulate future strategies and helps you increase customer satisfaction. The study was conducted in telephone interviews last December by an independent survey company among over 1,200 Chrysler vehicle owners who bought their vehicle new and still own it. Customers surveyed were split evenly among the Atlantic, Quebec, Ontario, and Western regions. The owners we contacted were the primary decision makers in their households for vehicle service purchases. To ensure an equal number of respondents by length of vehicle ownership, 1/3 of the sample owned their Chrysler vehicle less than 3 years, 1/3 for 3 to 5 years, and 1/3 for 5 to 7 years. The length of each telephone interview was approximately 20 minutes. You might think 20 minutes is a long time to ask someone to talk on the phone, but you'd be surprised at how willing participants are to voice their opinions and attitudes. Customers welcome the opportunity to provide Chrysler with feedback that will help improve future customer satisfaction. This survey is conducted annually, which allows us to monitor reaction to changes in the marketplace as they happen. Today, as well as showing you highlights from our 1994 study, we want to bring you comparative highlights from the 1993 and 1992 studies. This comparison will serve as a useful benchmark because, as you'll recall, 1992 was the year immediately before the introduction of 5-star service. In the fall of 1993, we introduced 5-star service. And of course, 1994 was the first full year for this marketing initiative. Our first range of questions dealt with maintenance and repair decisions and attitudes. The first highlight we'd like to bring to your attention is a statistical comparison of overall maintenance versus repair for the industry as a whole. Over the past 12 months, 97% of respondents reported maintenance work performed on their vehicle, while 25% reported repair work. The amount of maintenance work stayed constant from 1992 through 1994 and did not differ significantly across the 3 length of ownership categories. As you can see, 14% of owners of vehicles of less than 3 years reported that repair work had been performed on their vehicle in the past 12 months. But for 3 to 5 years of ownership and 5 to 7 years of ownership, that percentage increases all the way up to 36%. The message here is that your opportunity to earn repair business is by developing a positive relationship with your customers early in their ownership experience before they're tempted to stray elsewhere. How? By concentrating on maintenance services. Next, here are some of the responses to the question, what type or types of service have been performed on your vehicle within the last 12 months? In the area of maintenance, lube, oil, and filter change received the highest response at 88%. Followed by engine tune-up at 28%, and tire balancing rotation inspection at 12%. Notice that the response of lube, oil, and filter change is fairly consistent, regardless of length of ownership, while responses to other maintenance items tend to fluctuate as the vehicle ages. Lube, oil, and filter change is the maintenance item that draws customers to service facilities most frequently and consistently throughout the life of their vehicle. Therefore, it's important to recognize that the lube, oil, and filter change has formed and should continue to form the cornerstone of our overall marketing activity. In the area of repair work, the highest response was brakes at 21%, followed by tire replacement at 12%, muffler work at 6%, and shocks and struts at 4%. As you're aware, most of these replacement repair items come with a limited lifetime warranty. This business will be yours for the life of the vehicle if you make the first sale. Now, where did these Chrysler owners go for service? 64% of respondents surveyed indicated they took their vehicles to a Chrysler Canada dealership. While this number is higher than competing facilities, there's no cause for complacency. It's important to note that warranty work is included in this 64%. Do-it-yourself activity has remained relatively even over the past 3 years. Independent service stations have decreased in market share from 20% in 1992 down to 13% in 1994. This is due to more and more oil company franchise stations closing across the country. Independent repair shops are picking up some of this business. As a group, Canadian Tire and franchise muffler and tire stores and quick lube outlets have a total combined response rate of 21% for 1994. Collectively, this group is your most dangerous competition. Together, these competitors are aggressively campaigning for a larger share of the maintenance and light repair business by selling high-volume items. Speedy, for example, is now actively promoting lube, oil, and filter change, plus tires. Your focus must be firmly fixed on fighting off the ambitious plans of this competitive group. Maintenance and light repair work is the key to retaining customer loyalty. Let's look at the percentage of service work performed at a Chrysler dealership. In this section, you see the top-ranked service items performed at Chrysler Canada dealerships, starting with a summary of all repairs, maintenance, at 64% in 1994. Engine tune-ups ranked the highest at 60%, followed by lube, oil, and filter change at 51%, tire balancing, rotation, and inspection at 49%, and brakes at 42%. From 1992 through 1994, Chrysler dealers are gaining an increasing share of these items. As busy as your lube, oil, and filter change bays are, it's important to note that Chrysler Canada dealers are getting only 51%, or half of this business. Now let's switch our focus to reasons why our customers are choosing your dealership. The people we talked to had a wide variety of reasons why they might choose a Chrysler Canada dealership. The dealership knows my vehicle best was still the #1 response in 1994 at 39%, but showed a decrease from previous years. In the past, Chrysler Canada dealerships have been regarded by customers as the place to go for major repairs. But now, because Chrysler Canada dealers are promoting more maintenance and light repair work, new reasons for choosing them have come into play, making dealership knows my vehicle best less of a deciding factor. This should be perceived as positive. Our core service business base is expanding. Work covered by warranty, good customer service, loyalty, habit, and good quality work were the next most popular reasons. Work covered by warranty becomes less of a factor as the vehicle ages, dropping from 30% down to 16%. Conversely, loyalty habit becomes more of a factor as the vehicle ages, increasing from 11% to 23%. Next, we used a 10-point scale, with 1 being not at all satisfied and 10 being very satisfied, to ask how satisfied were you with the service you received from different facilities. On this bar chart, the center line indicates the industry standard. Bars to the left of the center line are below the industry standard, while bars to the right are above. This chart shows Chrysler Canada Dealer strengths as well as weaknesses compared to the industry. Overall satisfaction with Chrysler Canada versus the industry shows a steady gain from 1992 to 1994 in the areas of courtesy of personnel, use of quality items, and convenience of scheduling. Chrysler dealers have gained ground in the past 3 years to now equal industry standards. We've made real progress in improving customer perceptions of speed of repairs and maintenance, quality of repairs and maintenance, convenience of location, competence of technicians, speed of obtaining needed parts, and demonstrating concern. In the area of use of state-of-the-art equipment, we have been above the industry standard. However, customer perception of this strength has decreased. But in that area, as you know, there is no reason for Chrysler Canada dealers to take a back seat to anyone. And you have a big advantage with equipment like MDS and EPC. That's why an important focus of our 1995 marketing and promotion is our use of state-of-the-art equipment, so that we will strengthen this awareness. In areas requiring attention, customers' perceptions are that we fall well below the industry standard in repairing vehicles correct the first time, overall cost, cost of needed parts, and cost of labor. It's important to address these customer perceptions in dealership practices and in our collective marketing efforts. With regard to the likelihood of visiting a Chrysler dealer compared to in the past, we asked, how likely are you to visit a Chrysler dealership compared to in the past for maintenance work? This question has been added to the survey in 1994. Therefore, there are no comparisons to previous years. In 1994, 37% of the total number of owners we surveyed said they were now more likely to visit a Chrysler Canada dealership for maintenance work. The percentage of those who said they were less likely to return went from 24% for owners of newer vehicles up to 48% for owners of older vehicles. This trend reoccurred when we asked the same question regarding intentions to select your dealership for repair work not covered by warranty. Again, as the vehicle ages, owners become less likely to visit, thus underlining a need to motivate the owners of older vehicles to visit a Chrysler dealership after the warranty expires. What could dealerships do to improve service they provide, we asked. The top 5 recommendations were reasonable prices, work done quickly when promised, better customer relations, extras such as a free car wash or a loaner car, and fix problem right the first time. Reasonable prices ranked highest as the area where service could be improved. In 1993, 20% said that dealerships could improve their service by offering reasonable prices. In 1994, only 15% cited reasonable prices as an area for improvement. This shift is in part attributable to perceptions formed by 5-star service. Charging reasonable prices is still our best opportunity to build customer loyalty and future growth for vehicle sales as well as parts and service sales. Next, we wanted to discover the awareness of your Chrysler 5-star service commitment. In 1993, the year 5-star service was introduced, 52% were aware of it. But in 1994, awareness of 5-star service took a big jump to 71%. It was really making itself known. When we asked respondents where they heard about 5-star service, we learned the biggest sources were direct mail at a very strong 71%, followed by material at the dealership at 47%, then television commercials at 30%, and newspaper ads at 25%. These figures show an excellent response rate in all 4 categories. All 4 must be maintained for continuing universal awareness by current vehicle owners and future purchasers. Similarly, we asked the question, have you ever heard of the Mopar brand? Awareness of Mopar has significantly increased from 61% in 1992 all the way up to 82% in 1994. To maintain this upward trend, we'll continue to utilize sponsorships of special events such as motorsport racing, air shows, and skiing events, as well as showcasing the Mopar name in traditional forms of advertising. To close off our highlights, here are the results of 3 very important questions we asked over 1,200 Chrysler Canada vehicle owners. Our first question was, based on your satisfaction with your vehicle, how would you rate your chances of buying another Chrysler Canada product? The number who said, we'll definitely repurchase another Chrysler Canada product has steadily grown from 1992 through 1994. Next, we asked, considering your previous experiences, what are the chances of returning to the dealership who sold you your vehicle for for another new vehicle purchase. Again, through the 3-year period, we're showing steady growth among the owners who say excellent chance. Finally, we asked, considering your previous experience, what are the chances of returning to the Chrysler Canada dealer used for service in the past, for future repair and or maintenance work? Here, the upward growth of owners who say excellent chance of returning is particularly noteworthy, from 24% in 1992 up to 36% in 1994. To be sure, there are soft spots, areas of effort that need strengthening, but on the whole, the Service and Parts Tracking Study gives us a positive picture of just how you're doing in your continuing commitment to achieve customer delight. With the information obtained, we can reach several conclusions. Dealership scores continue to rise, while the gap between dealerships and the industry standard has narrowed. The effort to build long-term customer loyalty is the key to this continuing trend. The loyalty to Chrysler Canada dealerships has increased in 1994, specifically in terms of your share of maintenance business. The primary reason for choosing a Chrysler Canada dealership for service is still, dealership knows my vehicle best. However, convenience is becoming more of a decisive issue, as more customers are now considering a Chrysler Canada dealership for maintenance and light repair. For these customers, convenience is the motivating factor. We have seen that visits to a dealership decrease as the vehicle ages, with a significant drop in the 3 to 5 year ownership category. Here's the best area to build long-term customer loyalty. Don't let a customer's allegiance to your dealership expire when the warranty expires. Awareness of 5-star service has increased thanks to our partnership in national, DAA, and individual dealer advertising. The national information in this broadcast has been provided to give you a cross-Canada overview of customer perceptions, attitudes, and purchase intentions. Regional summaries of the details discussed today will be provided so that you can put a plan in place to address your customers' regional preferences and attitudes. We hope that you've enjoyed this overview of the Service and Parts Tracking Study. Achieving customer satisfaction starts by knowing your customer and marketing Customer One through the principles of the 5-star service process.
Well, that's it for today's broadcast. Thanks for watching. If you have any ideas, comments, or suggestions, please fax us at CDN headquarters, area code 519-258-4242. This network is for you, so don't be bashful. Plan to join us next month on April 18th and 19th for more news and information from the Chrysler Canada Dealer Network.